Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantathon and Let's Play Final Fantasy X-2. It's so great to have everyone back. Thank you so much for being here. Stop staring. Let's get out of here with the creepy music. So, we're back here on X-2, and if you missed it last week, we did finish the game. And, you know, sure, I had my gripes. Sure, overall, I would say I didn't enjoy it, but I really enjoyed playing through the game with you guys, and I'm very glad that people added it to Final Fantathon, because I think it's a milestone game in the series. It's a very important game in the life of Final Fantasy. Some people would say this is where Square Enix jumped the shark. Others would say this is where they kind of changed their mentality with the series. But whatever the case, it's an important game in the history of Final Fantasy, so I'm very glad that everyone added it. I'm glad we got to play through it. Having said that, a lot of people have expressed that they're pretty done with it, and they're ready to move on to 11, me included. So we are going to give it one final day. We're going to do whatever post-game we can do today, just kind of see what there is to offer. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to Final Fantasy 11 next week. And I'm going to go back and 100% this game during Trophy Quest on stream sometime in the near future. Probably right after Fantathon, I was thinking, is over, which isn't really the near future, but within, I don't know, let's see, we still have 2 bonus games, 11, which who knows how long that's going to be, 12, which is going to be very long, 13, which is not going to be very long, 14, which is going to be some length, we don't know yet, and then 15, which won't be very long. And then the 2 bonus games, which are Tactics and something. Tactics should probably take a while. So, I mean, in terms of long games, we got 12 in Tactics left. The other ones, you know, who knows. 14 might be long if I really enjoy it and we want to actually push it, you know, really far. But, you know, we're getting at least to the... we can see the finish line. It's really far away, but we can see it. But yeah, I'm thinking after Fantathon is over, I'm probably going to jump into some of these games like 12 Zodiac Age, X-2 Remaster, and start working on the trophies. Because I didn't want to do it during Fantathon, so maybe right after Fantathon. But, where do I want to go to? It shouldn't really matter. I'll go to Mount Gagaset again. That worked out pretty well. But yeah, I will be 100%ing this game in the future, so there's that. So we are gonna just try to do whatever fun post-game we can find today, and what I want to do first, before anything else, is I want to level up Yuna's special dress sphere, because it was my favorite one, and I tried to level up let's give her that. I tried to level up Payne's, and I ended up not really liking it. So I want to try Yuna's and see how good it can get, because it seems like the strongest one by far. So I'm going to try to level up Yuna's special dress sphere. And then I am going to go fight the desert boss again and see if we can beat the desert boss with Yuna's special dress sphere. So that's my plan. Now while we're grinding her special dress sphere, I wanted to talk a little bit about just the game in general. Oh, should have gone the other way. I was reading some comments from people about how, you know, I kind of came into this game and I didn't really like it, so I ended up kind of rushing near the end, and I missed out on a lot of stuff. And they were saying, like, that's not my fault, that's, like, more of the game's fault than my fault. But they were just kind of pointing out, like, you know, you missed out a lot of stuff near the end, mostly because you didn't like the game going in. And if you had seen that stuff, you probably would have enjoyed the game more. And I wanted to say, like, I agree and disagree with that. So I definitely agree that I think we have no encounters on. I'm just lucky. I definitely agree that I went into this game like this game is pretty much doomed from the start when I started it. Oh, good, motorcycle. Being a Final Fantasy stan as a kid and liking every single Final Fantasy game up to this point, and liking the whole general idea of Final Fantasy being separate games.
My enemies fall to the stroke of the blade.
This game was kind of doomed from the start. I was doomed to dislike this game. So I went in with a certain, like, already negative look at this game. So, in a way, it was doomed from the start. I was going to dislike the game, and you know, that definitely impacted my playthrough. You know, I ended up probably skipping more than maybe I would have in a normal playthrough. But the part that I disagree with is that I would have enjoyed the game more had I played more. Had I seen the extra stuff, you know, that would have changed my whole perspective. And because I went in with a negative perspective, that caused me to dislike the game more. Here's the thing. Yes, I went into the game with already being kind of negative, but even if I had started this game in a vacuum, like it wasn't called Final Fantasy, you know, I never played any other Final Fantasy game, and I just jumped into this game, I think I probably would have enjoyed it just as much. I don't think it would have been this completely different experience. And I think if I had played more of it, I think I would have just hated my playthrough even more. I would have gotten more frustrated, would have had a less fun time
This is your lucky day.
by the end of it if I had tried to play more. I think that people are missing the fact that I disliked everything about the game from the start to like the middle of the game. Everything I ran into, every minigame I played, every story sequence, every combat encounter, I disliked. So it's not that I just went in with a negative mindset, and if I hadn't done that, I would have loved everything. I hated pretty much everything about this game, regardless of whether or not it was Final Fantasy. I didn't like the minigames. They were really bad and not fun. The combat, I thought was okay, but it didn't grab me like it grabbed a lot of other people, I think. Every single boss I fought for the first half of the game was a reskin, or not, of a boss from Final Fantasy X. And every enemy I fought since the beginning of the game, except the stupid worm things, was a copy of an enemy from Final Fantasy X. So I don't think we can excuse the game for all that. I don't think just because I went in expecting some, you know, Final Fantasy X-2, I don't think we can excuse it for literally recycling 90% of Final Fantasy X. You know, just because I dislike the fact that they took Final Fantasy X and ruined all my favorite characters and extended a story that I thought had a good ending, regardless of all that, I still think this game has a lot of problems. I still think this game is 90% Final Fantasy X. I still think the music is a bit repetitive. I still think that the combat isn't as great as some of the other Final Fantasy games. I still think that the animation is abysmal. I still think that the writing is abysmal. You know, like, just because, oh, maybe I didn't explore everything.
I've got this one covered.
You know, it doesn't automatically mean all of that is okay. So I do agree, but I also disagree. I agree that I went in already frustrated with the game before I even started it, and that affected my opinion of it. But I think that all of my criticism of this game is still valid. I still think that almost all of the enemies being from Final Fantasy X, almost all the characters being from Final Fantasy X, the terrible animation, the terrible dialogue, all of that just leads to it being a bad game, you know? I don't think we can just say, oh, well, you know, you didn't explore everything, so... Like, no, it's still bad. I still think it's a bad video game. And if I had paid full price for this when it came out, I would be livid. I would be livid if I bought this at full price when it came out. Now, like I said before, as a combination with Final Fantasy X, like with the remaster, I think it's pretty nice. Just, you know, getting another take on the series and just getting to see the characters a bit more and whatever, like, and the enemies a bit more. It fits much more as a 10 DLC almost. But if I had paid full price for this back in the day, good lord. And I might have, I don't even remember. I know I bought it, but I think a family member bought it for me. I was still younger. I probably got it for like Christmas or something. But I would be livid paying full money for this. Ooh, Flare World. So yeah, I agree that I went in with a mindset when I started this game, but I think that all of my criticism has still been valid. At no point did I take something that was actually really good and say it was bad just because of my preconceived notion of the game. I was very fair, and I think I was pretty fair at giving this game a chance as well. I went to almost every location before continuing the chapter for the first 2 chapters. And I know some people said, like, because I didn't really like the game, I rushed through the rest of the game. But that's completely valid. If you don't like a game, why would you want to go to every single location and try to, like, you know, see every single cutscene? Like, I had no desire to see every cutscene in this game because I did not like a single cutscene in this game. You know what I mean? Like, seeing those extra cutscenes wouldn't have changed my mind because I didn't like any of the cutscenes I saw. So that's where I was kind of saying before, like, I think I would have disliked the game even more if I saw everything, you know? It wouldn't have changed my mind. I wouldn't have been like, oh, that's why Riku doesn't like light, or, you know, is fine with lightning now. Now it's all, now I love the game. Like, no. No, I think that Riku getting over her fear of thunder is kind of whatever. Like, it's okay, but the way that they probably did that scene probably sucks. It was probably had terrible animation, and it probably had a lot of goofy dialogue that wasn't funny. Tried to be funny and wasn't funny. So I probably wouldn't have liked it. Or maybe I would have, I don't know. Certainly wouldn't have saved the game for me, though. So yeah, I just want to say, but I do agree that I went into this game already frustrated. I remembered disliking this game as a kid. I remembered how it made me feel about the series as a whole. I did have this, like, Square Enix jump the shark mentality going into this game, because after this game, they made an MMO and called it Final Fantasy XI, which is, like, incredibly frustrating as a fan back then, and I couldn't even play it because I didn't have internet on my PS2. So, yeah, this was the jump the shark moment for me as a kid, and I'll always remember this game as being the jump the shark moment. So, yeah, you know, I definitely went in with a negative mindset, but at the same time, I gave it a fair shake. I definitely gave it a fair shake, and it's not for me. Not at all. So, but yeah, I'm glad that people brought that up because I think they're right. I think that, you know, and I had said this before, I said this last week, people that never played Final Fantasy X and just played this randomly probably got a much different experience. And I could definitely see where they would just see this as a really unique RPG. Like, oh, it's a turn-based RPG, but it's much more fast-paced, and all these enemies they would have never seen before. So like this huge lineup of enemies, they'd be like, whoa, this is like, look at all these enemies they created, and look at all these environments they created, and you can go to all these places anytime you want, you know? Like, there's no... You don't have to go level 1, level 2, level 3. You can just go anywhere you want. There's all these huge environments that have no idea that all of this was from another game, you know? So it must have been a completely different experience if you just jumped into this and had no idea that all of this was made for another game. And basically these characters are just plopped in. So I could definitely see that. In a vacuum, I think there's a lot to love about this game, for sure. But as a Final Fantasy fan, it's rough. It's rough. You have to really love Yuna and Riku and be able to get past the bad animation and dialogue just because you love the characters so much and just like to see them doing things, I feel, in order to really connect with this game. Someone also said that a lot of Payne's backstory is in the Crimson Spheres, but it's very difficult to get all the Crimson Spheres during the first playthrough. So that's definitely something that's unfortunate, because I think Payne had the ability to potentially carry this game. I think that if they had focused more on Payne's backstory, or just made it a bit easier to experience it in a casual playthrough, because it's not enough just to say it's there. It has to be at least obtainable in a casual playthrough to someone that isn't going to check every single nook and cranny, right? That's the point of a story, is that you're supposed to tell it. You can't just hide it all. You know, you can hide some of it, you can hide some details, and then on a second playthrough it's like, oh man, I missed that. But, you know, we shouldn't be getting to the end of the game with literally no information on a character. So, I think they dropped the ball on that. But if they had made Payne's character or her story more vital to the story, and make it Wimp. They have an attack called Wimp. And made it easier to access, I think she could have carried the game pretty far, because she's an interesting character. She's a unique character. I think she could have been a lot more. Could have helped the game out a lot. Yo, Owls, thank you so much for the 31 primer. And thank you, Bryce, for the 64. How's it going this morning? And thank you, Sipsco, for the 15 months. Thank you, guys.
Nice work.
Yeah, I mean, and like with the preconceived notions too, I never, the whole like, it reminds me of Final Fantasy 15 a lot. The whole allure of this game before you even play it is a bit weird. The advertising, I don't remember, were there like advertisements for this game? I don't remember. There was some kind of promotion. But having Yuna around with guns, just, it's almost like they just didn't even understand the character at all. And I still don't, at the beginning of the game, when she's trying to like talk about her new self, it just doesn't even make sense to me. Like, she's like, I have to follow my own path now, and I'm like, okay, but guns? Like, where'd the guns come from? Like, I don't, it's not connecting.
Where there's smoke.
I mean, guns are guns, whatever, you can give any character a gun, but I don't know. I didn't buy it, is the thing. A lot of the stuff that this game was selling, I just didn't buy. They didn't do a good enough job explaining it to me in a way where I was like, that makes at least some sense, you know? Yeah, just wait till we get to 15. I'm gonna have to have so many, like, disclaimers when we play 18. If you thought my preconceived notions of this game were bad...
Nothing a little hack and slash won't fix.
But I promise you right now, I will do my best to play 15 for the first time. You know what I mean? I will throw away all of my preconceived thoughts of 15 and just try to play it. It's gonna go terribly. I'm going to hate the game just as much as I did the first time. I can almost guarantee you. But I will do my best. Because I hated 15 for many different reasons. It was not just going in. It was like I didn't like the game in a vacuum. It just was not for me. Did not like the gameplay. Did not like much of anything. So. But see, with 15, I have a pretty good grasp of why people like it. I've had many conversations with 15 fans because I was genuinely curious about how they liked it so much and I hated it so much. I was like, why, you know, what is the big disconnect here? So I talked to a lot of 15 fans and I have an understanding as to why they like it, you know.
Leave it to me. So
I'm not completely lost. It's just I don't like it. And you're gonna hear that because I'm playing it. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna pretend like I like it. I'm gonna tell you I don't like it. You know. But I will be as fair as possible and try to point out parts that people do like and why they like it. I'm trying to use half-dead seeds so that I don't kill them too quickly and get more abilities off. The problem is, Yuna only has damaging abilities, so she ends up killing everything pretty quick. She does so much freaking damage, holy cow. I wonder if that accessory that doubles your doubles the MP it takes to cast stuff, but does more damage. I wonder if that works with the special dress sphere. Because we tested it last week, and all the accessories we tried didn't work. But I wonder if that one works, because it seems like that would be really good for Yuna, but probably not. I think the special dress sphere is just completely unequipped with everything. It seems. They're just their own thing. How we doing? We're gonna have a lot of HP, that's for sure. Oh, another thing. Does anyone know? I'm gonna go ahead and ask chat now because there's absolutely no way I can find it in 4 hours. Does anyone know where the break damage limit item for Yuna is? And whether or not I can find it? Because there's no way I'll find it in 4 hours, so might as well ask. I don't know if I can even break damage limit on the level I'm at, but if it's easy to go get, I'll go get it. Underplanes Dungeon? Oh no, isn't that the one that's like a super puzzle? So, somebody commented and said, like, if you go back to the Thunder Plains, you actually get to do all the puzzle there. Apparently it's like really wild. The break damage limit was 50 the whole time. A lot of Yuna's attacks are like multi-hit attacks, so I don't think they're really gonna break damage limit. I guess we could just wait to see if I'm actually hitting max. And if I am, I can go get it. Invincible is acquired by asking the cameraman in Killicaport in chapters 1, 3, and 5 about the Youth League base. After speaking with them in chapter 5, it will take the part of the new League base where the accessory Invincible can be found. The higher power Karmic Grid is acquired in chapter 5, found inside the Chocobo Ranch. The end Karmic Grid is contained. Wait, why are you telling me about other Karmic Grids? I was just asking about the break damage. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of like super powered stuff for the post game, which is cool. I like that a lot. And it's similar to 10.
This is your lucky
We'll
day.
see all that when we do a 100% playthrough. Well, maybe we won't actually, because I think if you do a 100% playthrough, you still miss some stuff. Because a lot of stuff is like, if you get one thing, you don't get the other thing. Yeah, luckily I already have the item to break HP limit, which is probably going to happen, because it looks like all our things get triple HP. So that one will actually be useful. The break damage limit, I don't think we're really going to get that far, so it's probably fine. I am going to be playing the original version of Final Fantasy 15, but it's going to be patched. I mean, we could unpatch it. I don't know, what do you guys think, actually? I might, maybe I'll ask chat when we get there. Because we could play 1.0, but I don't really see... I don't really see a reason to, I guess. I don't know. Like, I know that Final Fantathon is let's play the most original version of every single game we can, and I'm totally down to do that. But having said that, newer games are meant to be patched. Like, they're made with the sole idea of we're gonna patch this. So it feels a bit like against the spirit of the game to play the original patch. Because let's face it, games literally release broken now, because they can. And 15 is definitely in that range of, like, when it came out, it was... I wouldn't say it was broken, but they changed a lot in the patches.
I'm gonna whack you good!
I'm gonna whack you good! So, I don't know. Now, with the MMOs, we're obviously just playing the most recent version because we have to, but also I think it's safe to say that that's in the spirit of an MMO, is to play the most recent patch. But with 15, we could play the original patch. It makes me sad that all the work I did to level up all the magic grids with Yuna doesn't actually matter. How cool would it have been, like, since I mastered black magic and white magic, this was actually stronger because it's, like, magic based. But everything just has its own stats, so it doesn't affect anything. In fact, even the accessories I collected for magic builds mean nothing.
Cool off.
Like, if I'm using the special dress spheres, it really doesn't matter what else I've done in the game. It just matters what abilities I have unlocked and what level I am. Everything else is irrelevant. It's just kind of weird. Kinda strange, if you ask me. Also, we're going to be a much higher level when we fight the desert boss now, so that's going to help, because we did the whole final dungeon. And we went up several levels in the final dungeon, because those enemies were big strong. Yeah, but accessories don't work on special dress spheres anyways.
It's all in the wrist.
So, unless that one does, like, magically. But I don't think it does.
I've got this one covered.
What's up, Bad Steve? Go, Rocky. Thank you so much for the 31-month primer. That's the same as Owls. Thank you, man.
Never turn your back to the sea.
Never turn your back to the sea. I'm gonna try using Yuna's because it seems really good, and it also has ribbon, and I have no way to get ribbon on the other characters yet.
1,000.
It would have been cool if you got something for having a complete save of Final Fantasy X on your PS2 memory card. Yeah, that would have been cool.
No problem.
No problem. What if to get the secret ending you needed 100% in this game and you needed a memory card with like quote unquote 100% in Final Fantasy X, and then you got the good ending.
Don't get careless.
Who, me?
A dress sphere that turns Yuna into a high pillow.
Now your life is in my hands.
That'd be great. $11 is going to be very interesting. I don't know what I'm going to think of 11. It's going to be weird. Because in terms of Let's Playable games, I think Final Fantasy XI is probably the least Let's Playable game ever. From what I've heard. Oh good, this guy's immune to fire. I can spam this for a bit. Like, it is very not good for a Let's Play.
The flame consumes all.
So, yeah. It's a game you're not supposed to play alone. It's a game that's supposed to be a giant grind that you, like, do while doing other things, not sitting here playing it with an audience. So yeah. It's a very streamable game. All MMOs are very streamable. But in terms of a YouTube Let's Play, it's gonna be weird. But like I said, you know, we'll go until we feel like it's done. Whatever, you know. We will play it until we feel like the Let's Play is complete, whether or not that's seeing some credits or just feeling like we've already seen everything there is to see and now we're just grinding. Or like seeing, you know, the mechanics of the game. If I really dislike it, I'm not going to like force myself to keep playing it. If I really like it, then I'm not going to force myself to stop, you know, so we'll see. We shall see. Let's go ahead and kill this thing. I think there seems to be some kind of upper limit. Like, you can do this for a bit, but then eventually they stop giving you AP. How is he not dead? Crap. 12 is going to be a monster. 12 is going to be an absolute monster. Because I plan on doing the whole post-game because I really want to. I really want to show the post-game of 12 because it's like my favorite post-game. Tied with maybe 10, I don't know. I gotta play it again because I haven't played it since I was a kid, but I really, really like 12's post-game, or at least I did as a kid. So, but it is massive.
I will clear a path.
Absolutely massive.
I'll fight you to my last breath.
Yeah. It's just sad because, like, to be honest, I played a little bit of Zodiac Age when it came out. And then I decided to wait because I want to do it after Fantathon for the trophy quest. But Zodiac Age is so much better. Like, the class system is so much better. And the license board is so much better. It's going to feel like going backwards
Cold spell coming.
when I play the original. I love the way Zodiac Age does it. No, we have a ton of HP, but the healing spell is kind of weak. But I wonder if Ronald will be like really strong because our HP is so high. We got a little bit more. Wait a second. Why does it have an ability to break HP limit? Oh, I get it. The key item unlocks that ability and then you have to still get it. I got it. I thought it was like there was an ability and an item. And I was like, wait, what? See you, Taru. Have a great day at work. Yeah, of course. That's why there was 2 missing abilities at the bottom of Payne's. Because it's break HP limit and break damage limit. Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting after Fantathon. If you get back in time, we're going to be doing a tier list of Kingdom Hearts games. And then we're going to do a PSN roulette later. It'll be a fun afternoon. You know what I think would have really helped this game out a lot? I really think this game would be like 20 times better if the minigames were good. Like, if the cutscenes were silly and the animations were silly and the combat was just
Never
a revamped 10 and all the enemies and stuff were all the same, and the story was crap, but silly. But the mini-games were, like, super fun. I feel like it would have helped so much, because then it'd be like, okay, the story is silly and stuff, but it's really just an engine to have, like, this fun combat and fun mini-games, you know? Like, it's... They focused way more on the gameplay, and that's why the story lacks. But when the story is so... Like, even if you do like the... Because I know a lot of people do like the whole thing with the ancient Xanarkan people and everything. Like, there is stuff there to enjoy. But I think everyone can agree it was written poorly. So when you read this story that's written poorly and animated poorly, and then you go to the minigames and you're like, well, maybe they spent all the time on the minigames, and the minigames are literally just RNG rolls. It's like a slap in the face right after a kick in the nuts. But if the minigames were like really thought out and fun, then you could just be like, oh, well, you know, we're here for the minigames. And I feel like Sphere Break had potential. They could have done a lot more with it. Could have been cool. This game needed like a triple triad. It needed like a card game that you could play throughout the entire game with everyone. Instead of the stupid, will you go date this guy? But those are the stupidest side quests ever. Somebody commented like this huge long rant about those two minigames, the date thing and then the try to get people to play the minigames thing. And I couldn't agree more. Like, it's literally just luck. You either look it up in a guide or you just pick one of the options and something happens. There's literally no input from the player. You're just picking an option out of the list and seeing if it's right. There's no gameplay, there's no thought put into it. It's probably one of the worst quote-unquote side quests of all time. And then you have Blitzball, which is a bunch of arrows moving around. I just can't. I could see where someone could maybe get into it, but you really think, like, that many casual players really like to watch arrows moving around the screen? Like, you gotta be really into it to enjoy that. And then all the minigames on the Calm Lands were just total garbage. And then, like I said, there's Sphere Break, which could have been good, but they kind of dropped the ball on that, at least in my opinion. I can't imagine, you know, I was talking before about what if you just played this and never played 10? There's a lot you'd probably enjoy more. I can't imagine playing that Blitzball game if you never played 10. I would be so lost. I would be absolutely clueless as to what's going on if I never played 10. Tried to make heads or tails of that freaking game. Oh man, Reptile Run was my favorite. It reminds me of losing all my money at the horse races. It reminds me of home.
I will clear a path.
Dude, I freaking loved Blitzball. I played a lot of Blitzball. I think it's fair to say that 10 had the much better minigames, but having said that, I do agree 10's minigames weren't the best either. I think Blitzball is good. Whether or not you like it, it's very thought out. There's tournaments, there's league, there's all the different players, there's stats, there's the fact that it like super changes near the end of the levels. Or at least someone pointed out that not that many characters changed at the final level, but most of the main ones that people use do.
Dance, flames.
Like there was a lot of thought put into Blitzball, and then the fact that it was connected to the main story as well. It wasn't just randomly there. I think Blitzball is like a good minigame. Even if you don't like it, I think it's a good one. Well designed. But other than that, like the Chocobo race, yikes. What even else is in 10? There really isn't much. It's mostly just the Chocobo. Chocobo and Blitzball. So I guess there's kind of a lack of minigames in 10 too. It looks so hard to do. You literally just pick stuff out of a menu. It's extremely easy to play. Yeah, the one gripe I have with Blitzball is that it's very unbalanced, unfortunately. The problem is, like I said when we played 10, is the experience system. The team that wins gets more experience, and that's just very unbalanced, because then you win, and then you win more because you got more experience, and then you win more because you got more experience, and then you're a god. So, that in itself is unbalanced. Now look at our HP, and we're going from 1. We have the smallest garment grid, and we're at almost max HP.
Rinse, repeat.
Yuna is at max HP. Yeah, I mean, for the time it came out, too. But I think it's safe to say that there was a bit of a lack of minigames in 10, because like 8 and 9 had a lot of minigames. I mean, look at how extensive Chocobo Hot and Cold is. And you still had a card game in 9 too. Eight didn't really have that many minigames, and what it had kind of sucked. But it has cards. And 8 cards is Mega Poggers, so 8 wins because it has Triple Triad. If you count monster capturing as like a mini game, which I don't, but if you did, then 10 has like one of the best mini games of all time. Because, well, okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, because actually capturing the enemies is kind of lame. But man, the Monster Arena in 10 is just so great. But I don't classify that as a mini game because it's the regular mechanics of the game. I would say that's a side quest or post game. A post game side quest, if you will. Look at that. I learned Falal Magisol. My favorite move. Alright, what do we got? Guard fully against magic attacks. Wow. Okay. That's kind of dope. I learned Great Oral. Yeah, this seems way stronger than Payne's. Like, way stronger than Payne's. Yeah, but see, do I need do I need her break damage? Because I don't think I'm really gonna hit max damage. Either way, from what Heroes posted, I don't think I can get it. Sounds like I missed it. Tetramaster makes you sad. Well, if you know how to get it, let me know. Feel free to let me know. Because we only got 3 hours left, and I'm not going to find it in 3 hours.
Where there's smoke.
PlayOnline.com. Dude, I just realized none of any of this takes MP. Except the flare thing, which I don't know if there's a way to get MP back, so I think there's a limit to how many times you can do the flare. But nothing else takes MP. Pretty wild. Yeah, I'll talk about it more when we get to Final Fantasy XI, but there is absolutely no reason why it should have been called Final Fantasy XI, and it still bothers me to this day that they called it Final Fantasy XI. There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't have called it Final Fantasy Online. Even given, like, the games at the time, calling it Final Fantasy Online would have been, like, right in line with what was selling at the time. It just blows my mind that they called it 11. I believe the name of the item is Invincible, according to what Heroes looked up. Unless he looked up the wrong thing, which I'm starting to think he did. Need the items. I don't know, man. Flair's saying you're wrong. Aurora Rain is the break HP. Little faith here. You're right. I'll be honest. I got a little faith in you. I still love you. I have little faith in you.
I'm gonna whack you good.
I'm gonna whack you good. Aurora Rain is my... Never mind. Under the waterfall in Besaid. Wait, it's just sitting there? Somebody said the Yuna's special dress gear moves sound like a bunch of different, like, I just lost the word. I lost the word. F you, boomer. I turned 30 this week. It's all going downhill, boys. I'm gonna do the same. Falafel. No, smelly stuff that girls put on. Perfume. Sound like a bunch of perfumes. Bunch of perfume names. Do I go in here? Bro, I forget, like, the most common words all the time. It's sad.
Here comes the hurt.
I downloaded some word games on my phone to try to help my vocabulary. They've been helping a lot, actually. Ever since I started playing word games on my phone, I've forgotten a lot less words, but it still happens every once in a while.
It's all in the wrist.
I started playing frickin' Wordle. I am a god at Wordle. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it unlocked.
I'll fight you
Some
to my last
hidden
breath.
mastery within my body. I am an absolute god at Wordle. I like never miss.
The flame consumes all.
I got all the advanced strats. Oh my god, a death move actually hit? Shocking.
Where there's smoke.
You think the music sounds French? Your brain needs more terabytes. Probably. Oh, speaking of my birthday, on my birthday this week, we played Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which was an old PS2 RPG I owned as a kid. And they made a port of it on PS4. And a lot of people said on release it was broken. Like, super broken. And we played it on my birthday, and it seems like they fixed it up pretty well, so it was actually, like, pretty good. But man, playing that game was such a trip. Oh my god, it was so much fun. It was just like I remembered it. I absolutely loved playing that game. If you want to see it, I'm going to upload all like 4 hours of us playing it to Patreon. Or you can, if you're watching this within the first 2 months of it coming out, it'll be on the Twitch VODs for free. But it's only $1 to get all the videos on Patreon. I don't split it's just $1. So if you're interested in seeing that, it was a blast. It was so much fun. That game is so, it's just, I don't know, man. It's like simplicity in its perfect form. It's so simple, but it's so fun. Save before something terrible happens and I lose all that. Alright. This will be interesting. Alright, let me go to the bathroom, and then I think we're just gonna jump in. I'm gonna equip a big sphere grid because we have break HP limit. See how ridiculously high we can get our HP. I guess I could just do Bum Rush. That's what I had anyways. Beep boop beep boop beep. Boop 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 ba-doo. Alright, we'll see how this goes.